Hello, everybody, and welcome to another stream with Offensive Security. My name is S1REN, and today we are going to be tackling a machine together, available on PG Play. That's PG Play, Proving Grounds Play. Totally free. You can register an account there right now. We got 30 minutes. And the machine we're going to be working on is Katana. So if you'd like to join along and you'd like to have some fun, provide us some attack vectors, then we'll get to work on that. For the time being, hope you guys had a good time at the office hours. That was a fun one. Some very interesting stuff that we had up there. And let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and change the title. I'm going to edit this one here. This is OSL, and this is going to be Katana from PG Play. Walkthrough with S1REN. And we'll save that out. And now you guys in the chat should be able to see OSL Katana PG Play walkthrough with S1REN. If you have any friends, feel free to invite them along. We're just going to take this period of about 30 minutes to just relax and to be ourselves, to chill. If you're new to Offensive Security or OffSec, and you've just stumbled upon this stream, you go to Twitch, you watch video gaming, maybe you browse the science and technology channels, looking at people doing programming and research, you're in the right place. You're in the right place. This is the place to be. But go ahead, tell your friends we are live, and yeah, I'll go ahead and take any questions that we didn't get to in OffSec's office hour. But yeah, and then we'll get started. That is gonna be in approximately 28 minutes. 28 minutes. Welcome, Mike's Shadow. First time chat from Mike's Shadow. Welcome. Glad to have you, buddy. Glad to have you. We'll get down to hacking and cracking here in about 28 minutes. Sorry, my cat just jumped into one of my boxes. I am packing and I am moving, and they they jump between the boxes like it's a playground to them. They absolutely love boxes. It's a good thing. We love boxes here at Offensive Security as well. All right. I see we have about 17 people with us, much less, but that number should go up greatly as we do a hard start here at about 3 p.m. So how is everybody doing? This is kind of the time where we just let everybody sit down, like a conference. We like to treat it like a typical conference, where somebody would sit down, open their laptop, take notes, interact with the speaker, grab some coffee, maybe use the bathroom, whatever you got to do. Excited, Mike? Excellent. Glad to hear it, buddy. Glad to hear it. And on another note, happy Friday to everybody. Super glad that it's a Friday. I will be off next week. This is just a heads up. I'm going to be out of office next week, so there's definitely not going to be a stream then. And we shouldn't expect another stream until the first Friday of April. Welcome, Mr. Mares. Says hello, everybody. Welcome, Mr. Mares. And for anybody, I didn't even get this out of the way, but let's get it out of the way now. If you're watching this on YouTube, you know the drill. Go ahead and skip to the 30-minute mark, and you can jump straight to the action. That's going to be on Offensive Security's official YouTube channel. And let me get a link to that because we have a very valuable playlist. For anybody that's new to this field or doesn't know what we do, you know, I'm going to grab you one of the most invaluable links that especially somebody getting into this field is going to want to have. So if you go to playlists on our channel and then machine walkthroughs, I will grab the link and I will drop that into the chat. Oh my god, it's S1REN. Hello, Mooncake. 5,000. I see we have 32 people here. If you are new to cybersecurity, you want to get into penetration testing, or you really need a surgical Navy SEAL-esque methodology for gaining a foothold on a single target machine, that is what we specialize with. Together, we attack these single target machines. What happens past that? We can teach you, you know, what offensive security and even much more is available. But nonetheless, check out that YouTube link, please. There was a lot of effort and a lot of heart and a lot of care that went into each and every one of those videos with you guys, with the community. And that's been over almost coming up on 2 years worth of streams that started on Discord, and due to the massive influx of people that were following along, naturally we moved to twitch.tv. But here we are, and super glad to have you guys. Warms my heart every time. In the meantime, an additional link that I'm going to grab, if you want to follow along with me, you can follow along step by step. It could not be easier. Just go to the link that I've dropped into the chat there. That is https://portal.offsec.com. That's it. Portal.offsec.com. And if you register, like, we have 3 hours. So you get 3 hours in the free labs for free. And that's more than enough time to work with us along these streams. And if you're new and you don't understand something, if you're even just lurking, do not be afraid. Listen to me. Hear my voice. Hear my voice. If you are new to this, no worries. Ask your questions. We had a saying years ago, for decades at OffSec, do not be afraid to ask, just ask. And also, don't ask to ask a question, just ask. That is what the purpose of these streams are. It's to work and have fun as a community, to educate and to inspire and to bring some people together. So by doing so, you know, we all work together, and maybe somebody else might learn from your question. But please feel free to ask me any questions that you have regarded to this particular engagement that we're about to begin. We are getting the people in now. 41 people. Looking great. We're going to be starting in approximately 19 minutes. If you have any jokes, if you have anything you want to talk about, dude, this is the lax place to do it. In fact, I think this is the most lax environment that OffSec has. I actually very much appreciate it for that. Just the fact that we can joke around, we can have fun. So if you have anything you want to say in chat, do not be shy. Tell you one thing, I can start a conversation. I've been really getting into these like fragrances for olfactory stimulation in the mind. And I went on Amazon and I found just a plethora of these fragrant oils to help ease anxiety, help ease stress, right? And this one reminds me of something my mother used to bake for me when I was growing up, known as a snickerdoodle. I know we have people from all over the world. Sometimes they go by the name or the nickname Magic Squares. But yeah, I got the snickerdoodle kind of fragrant oil. I wish I could share that with you. And approximately 19 more minutes. 19 more minutes. Go ahead and tell your friends, and we'll be hard starting in about 19 minutes. Aren't they, brains? Essential oils are amazing. I learned the hard way you cannot apply them directly to your skin because you might get a rash, but you may actually end up being able to get something known as a carrier oil. And yeah, I know, right? It's pretty funny. But I like applied one of them under my nose, and then it started to get itchy and inflamed. I'm like, oh God. It's meant to just be, you know, very lightly sniffed. And it's incredible. But you can apply it. They're just known as carrier oils that kind of dilute and deactivate the fragrances. And that way you can leave it under your nose and smell something like dessert all day. It's really wonderful. All right. Let's see. If you are also following along, feel free to check out the Wire Side text channel. Let's see. Will the stream start in about 18 minutes? Yes, it will, just a guy. Like, the hacking part. You betcha. You betcha. We just want to give people time to sit down. It's coming towards the end of a Friday, the end of a work week. And, you know, go ahead, grab a drink. You know, get your notepad out, whatever it may be. Excuse me. That's all that fragrant oil. Bless you. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. First time chat from Boca Pig says, hello, 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 my friend. And Jackson says, bless you. You guys. I sneeze and then everybody comes out of the bulwark and starts talking. Alia T says, bless you. First time chat as well. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream for sure. And let's go ahead here and make sure everything is good. Make sure you get your IP address of the target machine exported into your Kali terminal, right? You want those endpoints already ready to go. Yeah. Mike's Shadow says, bless you. Thank you, Mike's Shadow. Very much appreciated in that. 0x Andy, a familiar face. He's just with us wherever we go. If it's the OffSec office hours, if it's the stream, like, dude, he is always here. And we are super grateful for you being a regular, Andy, as well. Jack, just a guy 1 through 7. You guys know who you are, and thank you so much for being here. A very big part of our community. "15 minutes to rock. 15 minutes to rock." Do you guys have any question? Living and breathing. Isn't that the name of the game? Living and breathing, man. You know, I try to practice meditation even before I do these sessions. I do like a 10-minute conscious meditation or a guided meditation to help kind of center me. Like before an engagement, I always like to do a bit of a meditation to center my mind, to center my being. And it really seems to help me a lot. So might help you guys before an engagement as well. Made attachment, yeah. Thought I'd stop by and get some hints 8 hours before my... Oh my goodness. Andy. Can we get a round of applause? Andy, you got this. I believe in you, man. You have absolutely got this. Just give it your all, and then give it some more. And you get it. You get that certification, Andy. You get it. It'll change your life forever. Mokiwa says, QQ working through the TG null PG boxes. I mean, that's a place as well. What an excellent resource. In fact, let me grab that link. If we just go to Google and type in TJ null's OSCP list, it is a public Google document, or a massive Google spreadsheet. If you are into penetration testing and offensive security and you're looking to get in it, similar to Mokiwa, follow that path. Right? You're going to want to do these videos in conjunction. You're going to want to do these videos in conjunction with those boxes. Thank you. My pleasure. My pleasure, Mokiwa. My pleasure. So we don't have too many people here today, but, you know, we're going to make it count anyway. And we're going to hack and crack this machine. It's going to be a lot of fun. And if you are interested in, you know, while we're at it, I'm just going to go ahead and grab my template. If you are interested in the template that I use, that I've kind of developed over the years, I'm going to drop it into Wireside Text. So if you go over to the Wireside Text channel in Offensive Security's Discord, I've dropped it in there. It's the same one that we use pretty much for every stream. And you feel free to just kind of use that if it helps you. You know, I've gotten lots of feedback from you guys that has been helping you. Some of you even used it on your examination and it helped you pass and it gave you a structured methodology, like just super stuff. And yeah. Let's see here. So which channel did you drop it in? Yeah, if you look at Offensive Security's Discord and you're looking at the left side, you're going to see General, General Companion Club, Off Topic, Bite-Sized Challenges. Then you'll see the voice text where we do the OffSec office hours. But the purpose of that channel is really, Wireside Text is really for these streams, what we do here. And also check out all those pinned messages it just contains a plethora of resources that we've dropped for community members over the years. Again, that is, I'll put that in the chat here, Wireside Text. If you don't see it, please let us know. Just let anybody know in general chat that you don't see it, and we'll try and figure out a way to get you to be able to see it and access it. Although I think you should have access by default. There may be like a timing thing or something like that before you can access it, but overall it should be there for the vast majority of you. Oh, my mic was muted. But that is the command that you would type is openvpn-config pg.ovpn. And for anybody that is curious and wants to follow right along, just use Katana or PG Play. You can access that through PG Play. And I see we have a large influx of people now, which is completely understandable because we are close to starting. So welcome everybody, and I'm going to say the same thing that I said to everybody else. If you're new here and you're new to cybersecurity and you're new to penetration testing, you know, don't be intimidated by anything. Don't be intimidated. I was intimidated when I got into this field by the sheer amount of possibility and information that was, you know, that was acquirable, right? So with that, yeah, just don't be intimidated. Don't be afraid. Relax. And we're going to work through this together. And there is no question that is too dumb. That was something I was afraid of, was asking dumb questions. And there is no such thing. But we have a first-time chat from Mary Shen, 03, says, intimidated greetings from Austria. Hello, Mary Shen, and hopefully not intimidated, but greetings to you in Austria. We have people from all over the world. Let's take the next 7 minutes and let's machine gun this. Let's machine gun this. Where are you guys from? What countries are you from? Where do you hail from? I myself am from the continental United States of America. Where are you guys from? Mike Shadow says the United States here. For Or7 says US. More US. First time chat from Count Zero says Sweden. And another person from America, Sukai Baru says Australia. All right, rocking it. And Boca Pigs says hello from South Africa. Wow. We really have people from everywhere. Mr. Marish says Turkey. Kate's Kingdom says United States. CS Fortune says Texas. Howdy, partner. And welcome. Welcome. 'So I mean, Australia, America, Turkey, Sweden, United States, Austria, South Africa, goodness gracious. Welcome, everybody. Welcome from all over the world to Offensive Security Stream. We are going to be beginning with a hard start here in 3 minutes. That is T minus 3 minutes. HTTPS portal.offsec.com. Register openvpn-config pg.ovpn. Get yourself connected to the virtual private network. Launch the machine Katana, and you can follow right along, right off Kali Linux, and provide attack vectors, etc., etc. Always make sure to check out Wireside Text as well. Gonna have plenty of useful resources there. Plenty of useful resources. Okay. We're coming up on it. For sure. $72 people. Looks like we're doing good. We are doing great, actually. Happy Friday, everybody. Happy Friday and welcome. Last stream was amazing, especially the OS command injection part. How you explained it and showcased it to us. My pleasure. My pleasure. If I take you guys down a wrong route or something like that, you know, make no mistake, it's intentional. I know what it's like to go down a rabbit hole and feel like you didn't get anything out of it. But at the end of the day, rabbit holes can be useful. They teach us how to avoid them and how to make our eyes sharper, right? Like a sniper, how to adjust and calculate that scope for a shot that could be a mile or greater out. We're trying to find the lowest hanging fruit in our circumstance, and that is exactly why I take you guys down the wrong routes, because I want you to see and be able to observe the lowest hanging fruit when it's there, so that you can get that foothold in a network during an engagement. T-minus 60 seconds until launch, everybody. T-minus 60 seconds. All right, guys, guess what? It's time. It's time. We're live. And, you know, we're ready to rock. As always, I've got the IP address exported. I've got the URL ready to go with the fuzz. So assuming port 80 is open, I always add the fuzz, F-U-Z-Z keyword for WFuzz. And for anybody wondering, why do we export the IP during an engagement of our single target machine? Why do we export the URL as an environment variable, right? To do so, you just right click. Oh, goodness gracious. Clear. That was from there. If we echo IP, let's get this on the clipboard. But why do we, you know, export IP equals this? Because there's a lot of tools that end up using these types of things, and it's just a smart idea. It's just a smart idea because many of the tools during our engagements are going to require that. Nonetheless, we're going to go ahead and begin. We're going to begin with an nmap scan -p-. That's to cover all 65,535 ports. Dash service version, we want to get that like a netcat banner grab. We want to get any versioning information we can back from the target. And then we want to do -st for a TCP connect scan at the target IP and -- open. Why do we provide -- open? The reason is because we're covering all 65,535 ports. We're not doing, you know, -- top ports 1,000 or 10,000. We're doing all ports. And I am only interested in having Nmap perform scanning and such on those ports that are open. Not closed, not filtered, open. So we'll hit the return key, smash that return key, and hit it again. See how that speed's coming along. 6, 8, 9, 11, 13, and going up. Now we just kind of wait, and then we're going to get Remember the importance of our notation, guys. Remember the importance of our notation. See where it says nmap results? This is where our nmap stuff is going to go. Everything on the target machine. We're going to do highlighting. We're going to highlight anything that stands out as low-hanging fruit or gives us verbose information about the target. That's the kind of stuff we're interested in. And this is, you know, very much preliminary, what I like to call the preliminary enumeration phases. This is just recon, you know? Most people know it as recon. Just a guy says we should include our nmap commands into the report too, correct? Every command, when you're doing your OSCP report, make sure that you are explaining it step by step. That is, somebody with no technical background must be able to come along, copy the commands, paste them as you know, as things are, and achieve compromise of a target machine. That is all. Also, make sure you provide screenshot evidence. If you do not provide that screenshot evidence, I'm sorry. There's nothing that, you know, we can do there. I learned that the hard way. So let's copy everything from our nmap scan. You're very welcome. Just a guy. We're going to paste it right here. And that's Shift-Alt-B for the background. And we'll blow up the font size. It looks like we have 21. So we got FTP, SSH. We got web surface on 80. Looks like more web surface on 7080. More web surface on 8080. And if that wasn't enough, we have more web surface on 8715. So let's highlight the protocol that corresponds to the port. You know, we have a secure socket layer, HTTPS, essentially, if we want to access that. More SSH. And the versioning of VS FTPD is 3.0.3 if we were going to check the exploit database or Mitref or any common CVEs. That being said, let's move right along. We have Debian. So we know our target is Debian, right? Debian. I'm going to put that at the top under my OS. My target is Debian. That tells me a lot about, you know, the root file system, right? It's going to tell me a lot about it. In my head, I can get an image of where things are, what things are, the web routes that stand out. So that's why we put that up here, is it just gives you, it's like telling you whether it's day or whether it's night, or whether it's midday, or whether it's, you know, 3 p.m. or 4 p.m. It gives your mind an image of how the structure of that target is laid out. So always make sure you keep track of that kind of information. We have Apache 2.4, which means we're definitely going to encounter server status, /server status, or server hyphen status. The thing is, past version 2, they've made that 403 forbidden, so that won't be useful. But we have Lightspeed HTTPD, I mean, Nginx 1.4.2. Should be fine, but I don't know. We're going to need to do some stuff here. Let's do 21, then 22. We have 80, and then all our HTTP ports. Let's just do those towards the bottom, all nice and concise. You want to stay organized, right? There's a lot of information that we're going to be dealing with. So 21 FTP, 22 SSH, 80 HTTP, and then we have the rest are just all HTTP as well. And that provides a nice condensed list of what the nmap scan was. And this is really in an engagement. I have it as community suggestions, right? That's the way we have it here. We have community suggestions. But look at this. This could also be your to try list. These are the items that you want to have to try. So for the sake of this one, we're going to call this our to try list. Okay? Things that we've got to try. Let's go through, you know, the archives of our brains, and let's find out the types of things that we would try just based solely on the port. Just a guy has it, FTP anonymous login. So we need to test FTP for anonymous login. Is SSH a priority right now? Yep, Wendy Force has it, 2081 FTP anonymous login. 22, yeah, we don't have credentials. That's going to the bottom. We have 0 usernames to brute force credentials, you know, or any cred stuffing attack. We don't have anything. That's the bottom right now. So really our primary surface, if we are going to get into this machine, it is going to be through FTP, HTTP, and or getting user and login information and performing a credential attack directly into SSH. Why not trying brute force SSH, says Potato Peeler Specialist. Well, we're not going to do any brute forcing right now because we don't have a username, right? If we have a user, if we were to guess, 100,000 usernames at, 1 million potential passwords, we'd be here for years. But yeah, in the background. So if this is, they raise a good point. If I'm on a engagement and this is one machine of, 10, 12, 15 machines, right? I'm going to go through and collect all the users, which is exactly why you see me for each and every machine create this structure. Vulnerabilities directory for any vulnerable services. Files for any exfiltrated information. Users that we can have maybe cross-machine. You can have fun with that structure. Hashes gathered that we need to, collect that could be cracked or passed or whatever. And any direct passwords that get cracked or exfiltrated any other such way. With that being said, addressing that, what are we going to do? We're just going to, let's come up with HTTP general attack rules to try. And then we'll kind of just apply that to the rest of them, okay? What do we need to do? What do we need to do? What do you think, guys? My feet are up here. This is the way this works is this is community driven. I could provide you all the answers, but that won't help. Snowzy says directory listing, manually inspect. Oh, there we go. Here we go. Bit of delay. So we'll say directory and file discovery. I'll commit to that with wfuzz. And manual inspection, correct? Manual inspection, in browser / view the source, Luke. View the source, Luke. View the source. And, checking for robots. Yeah, robots.txt, .svn entries, .ds store files that might have been left behind. Checking out the source code. We've got that. That looks like a good... And we have manual inspection, don't we? So in browser, yeah, kind of combine two into one there. I'm going to go ahead and close that off. And we're just going to copy this. These rules are going to apply to each HTTP service version. Each and every one of them. Just like that. We need to be rigorous with our testing. Very rigorous. So let's move forward. And let's get down to business to defeat the Huns. I'm going to FTP at the target IP, and we're going to attempt an anonymous login. FTP IP 21. Anonymous. That doesn't look, yeah, that's a 530 login incorrect, guys. So it seems that we don't have that on this machine. No anonymous login, fun. So we'll type bye, and it'll say 221 goodbye. So in our notes, it's simple. We tried this, no anonymous login. It is that simple. Done. And we're moving right along. If we get credentials though, in fact, I'm going to move that then. That goes where? That goes down with SSH. We don't have any credentials to access FTP. So our highest priority for getting into this machine is going to be through these HTTP. Yeah, it feels bad. Sad, sad, sad. Agreed. But, we don't give up hope. We just keep trying. We keep trying. So 80, let's get down to fuzzing. I'm going to open up my common here, and don't worry, I'll explain the command, as always. We'll do wfuzz for files, and then we'll do directories and explain that as well. So if I echo out the URL environment variable, notice that I've included /fuzz. In the bottom terminal, it's the same thing. I just included an extra /. That means we'd be checking for directories, right? Not direct files. So let's go ahead and paste this in and do some explanation. We're saying wfuzz, we want you to fuzz with color output. I'd like that. Data input method is a file. And we also have seclists out of the optional directory. Built into Kali Linux off the repository, though, you can apt-get and install-yes seclists. I already have that, and that'll be in lsaht user. Share seclists. And voila. I just like to operate out of the optional directory. You know, quirky like that. Seclist, discovery, web content, raft large files.txt is what we're going to be using. Why do we hush the code or suppress the code 404s? Anybody remember why we do that? Why am I going to hush or suppress 404s for this single target machine? Why am I going to do that? Why? Oh, wait, because we will get spammed by 404 responses, correct. We don't want those. So we'll smash the return key. Exactly the same in the bottom terminal. Remember, we exported the environment variable with an additional /. It'll be raft large directories dot text. Sorry if you hear beeping in the background. Bit of construction. Or is that a fire alarm? Okay, there is a fire alarm going off. If I have to cut the stream and a fire alarm goes off here, then I apologize. So anyway, same thing here, guys. We're just doing raft large directories.txt, and let's get down to business there. Hey, we already got something. Can anybody tell me while we have this running in the background, what is something we can do? What is something we can do? Let's grab, the IP is 104.83, so I'll put that here, 192.168.104.83. I'm going to copy this, and the answer is manual inspection. So let's go ahead and paste that there, and voila. I know we went through a lot of preliminary stuff before we opened it in a web browser, but look at the footing that we have now. Look at the level of surveillance overflight that we have collected from this machine, right? Look at the level of information we already have formulated that we're getting in via these vectors, and we didn't even load it into the web browser. That's the power of notation, right? That's the power. So, and enumeration. But while all this stuff is running in the background and we're fuzzing on port 80, which is what we are at here, we did find index.html. We didn't find any robots. Did we find any .svn? Not found .svn /, not found .ds stores, any strings, not found. But we did find a directory. So we found ebook. That seems to be the only one that's really coming back right now. So what I'll do is I'll just go down here to say files, and we have a few HTTP directories. This is very rare, but I'm going to go kind of just like this. Boom, boom, boom. And yes, this is exactly what this is for. You know, this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. This is for 80. Guess what? This is for 7080. This is going to correspond to 8088. And this is going to correspond to 8715. Simple as that. And we're going to get this kind of stuff going in the background while we manually peruse. So with that being said, let's check out ebook. Oh, and let's put down that result that we found /index.html. That's the only file on 80. And we found /ebook. That is juice to me. That gets a bold underline because, I mean, let's take a look. Excellent. So here we are. We've got a little, CMS bouncing around. And we got publisher, books, contact, view cart. Welcome to CSE Bookstore. Admin login. There's an admin login. Let's see if there's any error message username enumeration. Admin, blah, blah, blah. Wait, what the heck? Did I just log in as an administrator? That can't be possible. This must have been unconfigured. Admin single apostrophe, and we're logged in. What the heck? What the heck? So this is default. Obviously, then whatever this CSE bookstore is, I mean, it is one of those things that definitely, admin login, right? We just clicked on admin login. What the heck? Good game. I guess this. Let's get some takeaway on this, right? Let's get some takeaway immediately on this concept. When configuring, for the blue side, when configuring content management systems, set a password and do not allow default credentials or blank credentials. This just helps the attacker. So we didn't even really have to attack. And that's going to be a takeaway concept that will go into wire side text when we're done with it. But with that being said, are there any payloads? Do we have anything on the exploit database for CSE Bookstore? Like, let's take a look, and nothing new came back. I'm going to ease up the traffic there. Let's search exploit. This will allow us to search the exploit database. So if we search for the exploitdb.com, this massive database that Offensive Security that we maintain here, shout outs to the individual who does this, though I'm not going to say their name to respect their privacy. You know who you are. You're a hero, man. And this is the exploit database. We've got it built into Kali Linux with the search exploit command. So I'm just going to search for CMS Bookstore. Andy, do we have a SQLi? CMS, or was it CMS? CMS. CME Bookstore. Was it CSE? I just can't read today. Yeah, okay. Multiple SQL injections, authentication bypasses, persistent cross-site scripting. Now, we're in as the administrator, but I'm not seeing anything that leads to code execution. Nonetheless, let's take a look for learning purposes, and let's take a look at this. I want to show you guys some SQL injection kind of fun. Let's copy this. I'm going to use my bring me it command, which is really just search exploit -m, and that brings it to the current directory. But there it is. I'm going to nano that, and it looks like it's at /ebook book per pub. And let's grab that endpoint. All we need as a professional is that injection endpoint, right? So ebook, and did we include that? We certainly did. And pub ID equals nothing. Empty books, something went wrong. .. nothing, single apostrophe, heaven for an attacker. So here we are, and we've definitely got, you know, we've got sleep injection. Can I do an and sleep 10? Then termination statement? No. Or can I do a injection and? No. Either way, I'm probably forgetting the syntax on the sleep, but this is not a blind SQL injection. Cough, cough. If it were, you would definitely need to confirm that with time. So we're just going to keep this simple. I'm going to export the URL as this. And for anybody curious, hey now S1REN, OffSec says that SQL map is not permitted on the examination for the OSCP. To anybody who said that, you would be correct. To anybody that would say that, you'd be correct. But on my personal certification that me and my colleagues worked on, the Web 200 or the OSWA at Offensive Security, we've thought about it carefully, and we do permit. We do permit it because it's something you inevitably need to know. And as a result, you need to know how to use it. So let's echo out that URL. I'm going to go to my common, which is available on sirensecurity.io if you are so interested and so inclined. And let's talk about SQL map for a second. So I'm going to copy this, exit, and we have SQL map at the target URL. We're going to specify 2 threads. I'm going to not be too hard on it. We're going to specify 10 seconds in between thread creation. Level of 4, risk of 3. We want all data dumped to the terminal that we exfiltrate. We already know that if I add this in, that we have MariaDB, which is MySQL. So I'm going to say DBMS is equal to MySQL and dash DBS as well. Was it dash DBS or dash DBS? Either way, I think it'll let me know. And I might have just lost it right there. There we go. Okay, so oh no, it wants the URL. Oh, there's the trick. So if you found the injection point, add an asterisk. This will tell SQL map that I can start here. That's all it does. And yeah, dash DBS. And custom marker, see, found. Do you want to process that? Heck yeah. We know that's an injection point. We've tested it. Yes, we would like to process any PHP or session IDs regardless of PHP with our requests. And do, for the remainder of the tests, for MySQL extending level 4 value, yes. Be thorough. But yeah, it's not going to test any of the other DBMSs or database management systems because we specified that up here. So super useful to know this kind of stuff. And we're going to let it go and see if we can exfiltrate any usernames, passwords, things like that are what we're looking for. Usernames, passwords, hashes, sensitive information that we could introduce to our stakeholder and say, you know, hey, look at the kind of sensitive information that we were completely able to drop integrity to 0, confidentiality to 10. You get the point. Accessibility should have been 0. Well, network adjacent, so on and so forth. This is the kind of terminology you'll become familiar with after you get your OSCP and you get yourself into a pen testing department. But it did say URI parameter is vulnerable to error-based, or here we are, where having order by, as I would suspect, or we would suspect if we were familiar with SQL injection, which we are. So target URL appears to have 1 column query, fuzzy test. Let's go. Let's just go. Let's do this. Generic number 1 to 20 columns, but it should succeed at 1 to 21 to 40. Let's see. Do you want to try to find proper union column types? It should go because it is union injectable. Let's give it a moment. In the chat, yep, SQLi. There's an authentication bypass with the password field. Yeah, and we were able to get in through that. Kind of lucky, actually. Drop set cookie, experience problems? No. All right, and we're starting to get info back. Hello, hello. We've retrieved all the database tables, ebook, fetching current database, retrieved ebook. Database for, or tables for database ebooks. So we've got the entire database. It belongs to us now. And yeah, let's go. We got an admin hash. Maybe we can use that with SSH if we crack it. Yeah, we'll do a dictionary based attack. I could load up RockU, but we'll go with the standard here. And do you want to use common suffixes? Sure, whatever. Let's go with it. And it's already cracked. And the password was admin. So it was just admin, which is literally not useful to us. Do you guys know what this means? This means that we found a rabbit hole. We found a rabbit hole and we went down it. But now we know how to work with SQL map a little bit better. And, you know, We could dump all this to a file, toss that to a stakeholder. These were not usernames, these were publisher names for books, so not too useful there. Customers, A/B, test, maybe, but I'm gonna call doubts on that. So we went down a rabbit hole. You know, big deal. Big deal. We learned something from it, and we were able to exfil information. So let's go ahead and, unfortunately, you know, that's sad. That's sad, but, you know, we haven't even looked. I am going to include the endpoint, though, for my team, you know. I'm going to include this for my team for reporting. We're going to go to port 80, and directly underneath our to try list, look at that. URL already clickable straight to the injection point. So when you're doing your formal evidence and stuff like that, you're going to want to include the endpoint, or it's going to be called the vulnerable endpoint, right? This would be our vulnerable endpoint. For me as a tester, it makes it easier to include that in my notation while I'm attacking the machine or the endpoint, and then include that in the formal report. So nonetheless, let's just continue along. We have what other ports, dude? We got 7080, 80 or 8088. Let's just load these in. 7080. Okay, 7080. 7080 / more Katana. And guess what? We're just going to do this quick. We're going to copy it. We're going to export the URL as /fuzz on a different port. And we're going to go up to our wfuzz command, which was not long ago. And we're going to start fuzzing. See how quick that can be? And nope, this time we're getting a bunch of 403 forbiddens. So here's a way to add more hush codes. We're going to get straight to it with the 404 and the 403. Now we get back relevant results. And we found an index.php. Let's check that out alongside it. /index.php. Nice, and that is our index. So we know the web technology is at least PHP. We're going to include that in our notation as well. Great stuff. Great stuff. Maticus Maximus says, Siren Heart, glad to see you, Maticus. Another familiar face, S1REN 85 says, how do you know it was a rabbit hole from admin? Because even though we were admin, there didn't seem to be any functionality other than adding a book. If we're going to get anything else out of the database, there could be other users other than an administrator. What if there was a user named Jerry in that database and we wouldn't have known about it by just logging in as admin? There was no way to manage users. It didn't give us that functionality. So we're able to get, you know, if we were able to exfiltrate the username Jerry, then and that's an excellent question. If we were to exfiltrate the username Jerry from a SQL injection, which is a critical vulnerability, then we could potentially pass that across a network and move across organizational network infrastructure laterally, right? So you want to be able to exfil that DB, especially if you find a SQL injection. Just being able to log into admin is only ever going to give you admin capability, which is typically a lot. And, you know, we like to be admin. But great question there. Is it possible to upload something as an admin? Great question. While that fuzzes, let's go ahead and get back to port 80 in a separate tab. /ebook. Or ebooks. Wasn't it? No, it's ebook. I might have just messed this. Oh, I have HTTPS. My bad. Ebook. And here we are. Admin login. Login is admin. You can see, yeah, we have publisher, books. That didn't even change. We can add a new book. You know, things. We can upload an image. Maybe we can upload, attempt to upload offsec.php, description, h1, HTMLI probe. We can do this all day, you know. Price, more, go to Burp Suite, set that to intercept, and let's take a look and see if we can do any file upload attacks. It wanted an image, right? So let's hit add new book. And here we are, we've intercepted it. And Content type is application PHP. File name is this. Now it's expecting the name parameters image. The file name is offsec.php. We could try always renaming it in transit to .gif.php as a temporary bypass. Content type is application PHP. I don't really care about that. Let's change that to image GIF. And then to have the magic bytes or the file signature, then we'll include GIF 89A. I mean, we can try and forward this along, see if we get anything. Can't add new data of incorrect integer. I mean, we could test around with this, but we do need to continue along. But let's see here. It doesn't look like we're getting anything back, but while we're fuzzing for files there were other HTTP ports. So instead of jumping around so much, which is natural because we have 1, 2, 3, 4 separate web surfaces, guys. 4 separate ones. 192.168, here it is, on port 8088 / and let's disable intercept. Just forward that along. Pro tip, if you have intercept on, you can just drop it and it'll automatically forward all further requests or resources, that kind of stuff. So 8088 / fuzz. And into the terminal we go. Export URL is equal to this, / fuzz. wfuzz is ready. We're going to change that from directories, raf large directories, to raf large files. And let's go for 404s. And jump out of, that way we don't get any 404s back. Index.html, htaccess, is anything a PHP info. So that's another moderate to high find. Upload.php info. First off, we have found a few things. And we're going to put these immediately under 8088. So no matter what happens, we have it. And there was also an upload.php. So let's check out both. PHP info. Okay. Can anybody tell me what a useful, is that not SSL? No, this is just HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol. Not over TLS or SSL on the wire. Good thinking though. First time chat there from Tick. So what else? Credentials are sometimes in there, sometimes. I'm looking for the document root. This is going to tell me if I ever have the ability to write to the target machine, right? We need to know the document root. So the document root here happens to be in user local LSWS example HTML, right? So that's super good. I'm just going to copy that under 8088 and say that the web root is right there. And we need to paste that as plain text because HTML. And, we have exfiltrated the web root. Now let's check out the fun thing. Upload.php. What in the heck is that? Request body by parser. It wants a name value, a type, a path, an MD5. Okay. Oh, there's upload.html. Hold on. That might just be where things get posted. Like the post data might go to upload.php. So you hear me think out loud here, but if we drop into upload.html, I'm thinking that's going to be a form that submits to this. So let's test that hypothesis. HTML. Okay. This page is designed to test the file upload feature and its related optional modules. Okay. Let's just try uploading something. Creds and PHP version, disable functions. I like what I'm hearing regarding the PHP info. Yeah, this looks good. This looks promising. So let's hit choose file and let's test this upload functionality. Again, I'm just going to grab offsec.php. What is offsec.php? Okay, let's go ahead and cancel this fuzzing. I'm going to go to cd to home, Kali transfers, PHP, and let's cat offsec.php. This is just leftover from the last stream that we created, this offsec.php file. Let's nano it and do an explanation. GIF 89A is really not that necessary here because we're not doing a file image upload bypass or attempting anything to bypass magic bytes or signatures. But we do have some preservative statements so that if we did get something back, it would give us a monospace font similar to an actual terminal. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to reselect it. And that way it's any output would be screenshotable, legible, readable for stakeholders and clients. It makes it easier on them guys. So submit, and it's nicer for you too. Upload module not, but it says it's done. Please wait for 1 minute, relax. Opt manager. I'm gonna just grab this, add this to my notes. I've not had much food today. 8088 and opt manager HTML. So it looks like we have a separate web root. Opt manager HTML, Katana offsec.php. So that would correspond to the web root. If I'm right, then I might be able to just drop. Dang it. Hold on. That was a web root though. It gave us a web root, didn't it? Dun, 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 dun. Let's see. Let me just drink some water for a minute. Excuse me. So, okay, I have a hunch. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 web ports. What if we go back to 80 and just try that? And let's keep that open as well. So 70, 80, port 80, not 80, 88, 80 / Katana OffSec. Okay, so it's not found on port 80. And then what was the next? 70, 80, 70, 80. This could be another corresponding web root. 403 forbidden. Okay. That's certainly interesting. And let's say, well, I mean, we did try 88, I think. Didn't we? Didn't we? Request not found. What was another web port? 8715? Creds and PHP version. This looks good. Move to other web server. Nice eye. Did it say that? Did it? Moved. Aha! Move to other web server. You're totally correct. I was just looking for the juice, the web root. So the only one though we've tried, or haven't tried on our to-try list, is 8715. Fingers crossed. Dude, fingers crossed. 8715. Unsupported. Oh, we tried HTTPS on something. Is it SSL? No. That's a blank page. What if something doesn't exist? It asks for credentials. But this was a file, guys. CMD equals ID. What is this? So what we're saying is in this, there are a number of system level executive statements that we could go for. We could go for pass-through. Can anybody tell me another one? Right? Because we're saying basically execute, right? Pass-through is just a system level execution command. But execute what? Well, the get value of CMD. And then that's command execution, system level. Okay, yeah, we could have system, $_ _get CMD. What is another one that we might be able to have? Shell exec. I like what I'm getting. For PHP, $_ get CMD. In case there were any disabled functions in our, we had a hunch, it should work. Here's another one. We have exec, just outright. Execute, get CMD, right? And what else do we have? Can anyone tell me? Not just eval. I see you, Nerdoir. I see the first time chat from Nerdoir. We'll explain that. That's well deserved. But we also have p open. right? $_process open of CMD. These are all effectively going to achieve the same exact thing. And we discussed this at great length in the Web 200. But an explanation of eval, though this is not relevant, if you're interested, eval is super simple. Eval just takes everything that's in these strings, right? And it executes it. So if I were to write PHP info, like regular PHP code with the termination statement, this would actually evaluate whatever's in double quotes as actual PHP code, and it would execute it. So you could, in theory, provide like a serialization. You could say, then do a pass through of, I don't know, just to check for command execution, single quotes, termination, semicolon, ID. And, that would be another executive level statement. Very well done. But we're doing pass through. So that's an explanation of the web shell. And we have CMD is equal to ID. I'm going to capture this in Burp Suite. And my fingers and my toes are crossed. We'll send it along just for, another visual for anybody that's new. We performed a GET request to Katana offsec.php. CMD is equal to ID. Thanks for the info. You are absolutely so welcome. You are so welcome. We're here to teach. What good does any of this stuff do if I don't explain? We're performing a GET request, guys. GET request to a file. And we're providing the GET parameter CMD, which remember is going to be executed. So we're saying execute ID. The host on port 8715. And again, this is all very much covered in depth in the Web 200 or OSWA certification. But we'll forward that out, turn off intercept, and we have code execution. You see what I'm saying, dude? Look at that, right? That's what I'm talking about. So CMD is now echoed, that's going to be bling bling. That's bling bling. We have now actually pwned this machine. It is owned. Whatever you want to say, it is ours. It is ours. So what do we do now that we have code execution? I'm not even going to jump. I'm not even going to play. I'm going to tell my team 8715, that endpoint, we have code execution. Don't mess with it. I'm getting a reverse shell right now. We don't want multiple shells. We don't want to crash the machine. So I'm going to rev shells. This is just a bash alias that cat's home /reference /rev shells. That's all it is for anybody that wants to know how I do this so quickly. And we're going to grab a regular bash shell. And I'm going to put in, let's use the bottom terminal now for something useful. If config on ton 0. And here we are. Bada boom, bada bing. We're going to place that in here. Oops, I have messed this up. I have completely messed this up. Let's make this legible. Shells. I'm going to get food after this because my hands are getting shaky. We're going to copy this. And can anybody tell me why this doesn't work? If I paste this in as a CMD, why is this not going to work? There are two reasons. Remember, we're saying what? We're saying pass through, go ahead and execute this. Why will this not work? As is, at least, as it is. That's right, it's not URL encoded. We haven't URL encoded it. So we're going to start up a listener in LVP 9090. What this says is netcat, listen on numeric TCP IP format. That means expecting 4 octets, standard IP address. Then listen, not connect, but listen, verbose, provide any verbose information that comes in on specified following port 9090. And that is that's our attacking port right there that we're going to be getting it from. So I can wrap this, but can anybody tell me about, okay, there it is, unsafe URL characters. This is a delimiter. let's go ahead and just demonstrate this. What the heck am I doing? I'm going to copy this and show you why this doesn't work. Let's get intercept on in Burp Suite. Intercept is now on. And we're going to send this along. And we're going to look at this in Burp Suite. Burp Suite has already performed a degree of encoding, which is great. But oh no, dear goodness me, can anybody tell me, like we were discussing, now we have a visual on it. From last week, we discussed about the bad character, the ampersand. So what the server, Apache, is going to see is this is a value and everything to the right is a parameter. Very much the equivalent of something like CMD equals value here. This is a parameter. This is the parameter value, right? Or you could have value here and then tack on another. IP is equal to 127.0.0.1. You have a value parameter combination. This is discussed at great length again in the Web 200. But let's go back. Control Z. We have an ampersand. So the target server is not, you can't just paste a rev shell in like this and have it work. We need to do two things, guys, two things to make this work. One, we need to select it, right click it, go to, where are we? Goodness gracious. Oh, convert selection and URL. And then let's just say URL encode key characters. Boom. Now that's encoded. Then what else do we need to do to make sure that that ampersand does not come through and that it executes properly? We're going to do a bash space -c and then wrap the entire thing in single quotation marks. So let's do this from the very beginning. And I'm going to turn this off, go to here, see nothing came back. In plain English from the poor man's text editor, we have bash -c. The command is the following. Spelling. There we are, bash -c. We're going to take that, right click, copy it. I'm going to go to MayerWeb, encode, decode. And I'm just going to drop it in here. I'm going to encode that entire string. Control A, Control C, Control W, CMD parameter, where exec is, and exec lives, enter, and we now have a reverse shell. So you see how we do that now and why we do the things that we do. Excellent. In Web 200, we discuss it as normalizing a payload for transit. We're normalizing the payload for transit. The payload would work great, but we've got to normalize it to make sure that the medium it's moving through is encoded and it goes through like butter, like melted butter and crab. So we normalize the payload for transit, and that is what we've done. I'm going to drag this to the top. And TTY, I've got no valid TTY. That means bad things. If I were to hit Control plus C, I would lose this, and I don't want to lose it. So I'm going to use my breakout command, also available on S1REN Security, and that's just a bash alias to cat home /reference/breakout. That is all that is. To anybody that asks me, I get a lot of direct messages. So if you want to do that, you can, you know. Breakout. Is Python here? Python is here. I'm going to use Python to spawn Ben Bash. And we're going to export the path to be global or distribution global. Because if I type env, we have no path. There is no path parameter. We are a bare bones shell. So that's why we export the path. And also, if I type clear, that's not going to work. So I can export term to be the absolute bare bones, which is export term equals Linux, and type clear, and that'll work. But I'm not going to have color. Oh no. Let's say I want to see the colors of the files and the directories and whether or not something has a SUID sticky bit. export term equals 256 color. Now LL, or I haven't even aliased that yet. And we can see, you know, that we have this here. It's a little bit hard to see, but in fact, I think this is a good time to show that we can go to preferences in Terminator. We can go to profiles, colors, find that blue that matches, and add a custom color, maybe something like that's legible. You see how it's changing dynamically? This is why I love Terminator. It is just that awesome. Let's make it somewhere like a halfway point chromatically, and we'll make it, you know, what? Something legible for you guys, which is going to be like a cobalt blue. We'll just go with that. And select and close. And that's how you do that for anybody that wants to know how to customize, you know, the fun stuff there in Terminator. But now we can see what's going on. Look at that. It's legible. It's fun. It's great. Now, we have a shell on the machine. Is it stable? No. I need to use one more thing. I'm going to scare everybody in the audience half to death. Like Bob Ross would say, I'm going to scare you half to death. But we're going to hit Control Z. Okay? We're going to background the process and drop our shell. Then we're going to use stty raw-echo, and we're going to echo to the and then we're going to echo everything that's on the the raw tty. And then we're going to say foreground everything, which is going to be the echoed result, and reset the terminal. So there, and then I go into foreground, hit enter, and now I can hit Control C, and we essentially have a shell that is just as stable as a typical SSH shell, if not, you know, even more nice and lean and clean. So that's how you get a stable shell that you can really work with. The blue is a tad too dark. Okay, all right. I mean, we got time, heck. Colors, and then what's, for anybody new in the chat, we've got access to the machine. We've compromised it. What is the next step in our journey here? Are we done? I don't think we're done. I don't think we're done. What is the next step? Privilege escalation. Why would sudo, can anybody tell? I like what you guys are thinking. Sudo-l. Why is sudo-l not going to work on this machine if we cat etc password? www, let's cat etc password and grep-i for www, and -- color equals auto. www data. Okay, no password, no hash. Notice how everything else has that little, let's cat etc password. Unless this isn't, fascinating. Either way, look at how we have a, like a user here, Katana, and then we have a hash value, right? So that's dangerous to leave that kind of thing there, which is, you know, super fun, but that is not what we're going for. If we sudo-l, we're not a real user. We're just www information, right? We're not. That's right. Wally W4 says we're not an actual user, S1REN. That's right. Bingo. So sudo-l is not going to work. But if we go to the home directory, there is a user. It is Katana. And there's nothing here. Dang it. No. All right, let's start looking through everything. We're gonna go to CD. At this point, I'm gonna machine gun this. I'm gonna kind of go into the zone. Yeah, no linpeas, Snowzy 2223 P spy. You know, if we want to get a separate one going, but I'm gonna start. I'll talk about it as I go. I'm gonna check world writable directories, var temp, and there's nothing out of here. We're gonna check temp, and there is ls httpd. And I'm going to add that we have ls httpd in my enum notes for privilege escalation. There might be a config file there, but I'm not going to spend too much brain power on it just yet. I'm going to keep moving. So I'm going to go to other and put privilege escalation. And we're going to drop this in, right? That might be something. We might be able to exfil creds from that. It's better than nothing. cd to dev shim. And We have OLS. Oh, that's permission denied. What about the optional directory? We have manager. Okay. This is why I had to change the color, because it's different from basically what you might have on your actual machine. And let's change this over to something more legible. I do apologize, guys. Sometimes the machine just, you know, we may have to work with the cobalt blue for now. That's what we got. Sorry, my cat was getting into things. But yeah, var temp, we checked the world writables, we've checked optional, right? Zapola says, hello, S1REN. Hello, Zapola. Glad to have you. Let's check out the web root, var, www, html, ll. We have the ebook. Was there any config data? Anything left behind? Any config data, database data, cd database? Not that we need it. To tell you the truth, we've already exfiltrated everything through SQL injection and we have all the users. Which MySQL? MySQL is here. All right, but let's do a PS AUX. We want vertical privilege escalation. So we're going to look for anything, any running services that we might be able to exploit with a, you know, a potato or something, you know, some payload with an out-of-date version of whatever have you. Let's take a look. We have everything kernel based running as root that's required for the system to even boot. Below, and that's going to be in square brackets. We want everything below these square brackets. That's where the real juice is going to be. And we have VSFTPD. That's not, I mean, VM tools is expected. Cron is running, so we can LSA etc. And then cron, everything cron star, right? Let's see. Okay, let's cat etc cron tab. And nothing is running there, but always go to etc and let's go to cron dot, you know, daily. And let's cat the dot placeholder. Is there anything happening? Here's a way to take this out of the equation. We can run file on /bin bash, right? And notice that this is a 64-bit operating system. So one thing we can optionally do is set up a netcat listener on port 9000, right? And this is kind of the cool part. I'm actually gonna do, let's go to transfers, and I'm gonna cd to Linux, and we have pspy 64. I'm gonna type simple HTTP to create a simple HTTP server. I'm gonna do if config on ton 0. I'm gonna go to a directory that I can write out of. Sorry. My cat was like clawing away at something, at a box, and I'm moving. But we have a lot going on in this home. We're gonna move pspy 64 over to this machine. And we're gonna do that by going to a world writable directory. We're gonna grab this, copy it, and simple HTTP gets tossed up. I'm gonna wget HTTP, and then my attacking machine IP on port 8000 /pspy 64. Great, we got it. And that's a code 200 OK. I'm gonna exit this, and what we can do is chmod +x on pspy 64 /pspy 64, and because we have a stable shell, in essence, this is going to show us, so if you are looking for cron jobs or things that are happening, any and every operation that is incurring, every file IO operation. So you would want to have something like this running in a separate terminal on a separate shell for 10 to 15 minutes. And if anything comes along as UID 0 and it performs some execution, or it performs, you know, something like a writing action, right? Like it writes to the disk, then pspy is just going to be like, hey, this happened, and here's where it happened, and here's the user identification number that did it. Again, we just identified the correct architecture with file on bin bash. But we're going to move right along. Let's go to etc. And is there anything in here that's not root or root shadow or root cups? See, there's the root shadow. In other words, did a real user come along at any point, install something, misconfigure it, and we're able to look at it, you know, with our own eyes and see whether or not there is configuration information left behind? And the answer is no. Is there any ability to write to etc password? No, it's just read. It's read only. Sometimes that happens. Okay. What about the network? netstat-ant up. Netstat's not here. Guys, if there's no netstat, what command can we type? What do we type? I don't have access to netstat. SSSSSSSSSS. You guys got it. SS-ton-LP. Look how nice and pretty that is. I'm going to enlarge it, but, you know, you can see. So what are we looking for? When I say look at the network, we're looking at the network on this machine for privilege escalation. Why would we do that? What are we looking for? Tick says MySQL. I like what I'm seeing. Yes. So why MySQL though, Tick? Why did that interest you on 3306? What is it about that? Loopback services. We've compromised the machine. This is basically loot. This is stuff we can't access from the outside. We might be able to drop into the database with one of those 4 HTTP web surfaces, get some credentials to a database, drop in, and exfil it for our stakeholders to be like, hey, look, here's a dump.sql file or something like that. And that's going to help as well. But in this particular case, we're just going to keep moving right along, though I am going to copy that for later, just in case we want to drop back into the MySQL database. And I'm going to highlight this. We have LS-HTTPT, that's still on there as a potentiality. And we have this. If you ever want to check everything across, like, I don't know which version of MySQL, it could be vulnerable to a privilege escalation outright. We can do dmessage and then just grep-i for the service that's running, -- color equals auto. Oh no, read kernel buffer failed. So that's actually, what about, oh no, I did dmessage. I meant dpkg, dpackage-l to list out all packages on this machine. And look at what we have. MySQL common is 5.8, 1.0.5. There might be something on the exploit database. Search exploit MySQL common, or excuse me, MySQL. And then we could tack in a 5 and tack in Linux and tack in privilege escalation. And it's getting close, you know, MariaDB 5.5, 5.6, 5.7, but no 5.8. We're on 5.8. So unfortunate there, but you know, that is what it is, and at least we checked. Okay, guys, let's check the root file system. Is there anything that just shouldn't exist here? I mean, what about the server directory? FTP, hey, we didn't have access to FTP. Oh my God, you've got to be kidding. So even though it was password protected, there was nothing, it was totally a rabbit hole. You could have been brute forcing. Someone mentioned that earlier. This is why we don't brute force without targeting, you know, targeted brute forcing, you know, targeted credential stuffing. We're wasting our time generating traffic. But we've gone ahead and done that. Let's check the mounts. etc/fstab. Is there anything in here that allows us to mount files exotically? That means if we were to type the mount command, like huge libfs, debugfs, systemd, pstore, tempfs, there's nothing here that we could really mount in order to mount and, you know, add maybe bin shell as uid equals 0 and then get that pretty pound sign that we all know and love. So no extended file attributes, no magic attributes attached to fstab. But one thing we can also check is for suids and guids. And let's get down to doing that. Suids, paste that in. GUIDs. Paste that in. Is there any exotic? Let's move this over to our notes. SUIDs and GUIDs. Sometimes people check this right out of the gate, but you know, SUIDs, and let's grab those GUIDs. That's group user or group ID, basically. Group ID and UID. It is that. So let's grab GUID or GUIDs, and let's highlight all this. Anybody see anything? Anything standing out? Anybody? And I'm just gonna put, you know, 127.0.0.1.3306 MySQL as potentially a thing, and then SUIDs, BU, Shift Alt F, Control BU. Okay, so anything at all? Search sums for known exploits is an easy start. We've done that, though there might be, you know, something else going on. Thanks, S1REN. Because of you, I just passed my OSC. Man, see, that's what gets me emotional. Thank you so much. We real gamers. Wow. Yeah, guys, give them a congratulations. Give them a congratulations. They are now an offensive security certified professional. Dang, that's intense. That I'm so glad that, you know, everything we've taught you at OffSec, it has worked. And, you know, honest to God, congratulations. That's a milestone in your life, and you deserve to take today, and you deserve to go celebrate, because it'll change your life forever. So congratulations, my friend. And I'm glad that I could even help with that. So just goes to show, guys, enough trying and, you know, working on the correct methodologies, and guess what? You know, it does work. So thank you for saying that. That really means a lot. You get my eyes watering. I'm gonna just jump to it and be like, no, guys, there's no SUIDs here that are outside the ordinary. No, there's no GUIDs either. It's getting dry. It's getting really dry now. What is another thing that we might be able to do? Can anybody tell me the command that we might be able to check for another thing? Excuse me. Yeah. We cat the uname-r. I like to do uname-a cat etsy / asterisk dash release cat / etsy issue. And, you know, if we're, you know, getting down to, I've looked at all these things, you know, this is absolute back burner, man. This is back burner, okay? This is back freaking burner. You don't go executing weaponized kernel payloads just willy-nilly, man. You don't do that. You got to check for misconfigs first. Otherwise, you could burn your ability to access the machine. And then you're just completely done for, right? How are you going to access a machine that is completely broken? So, I'm not there yet. Kali 019. So yeah, we can check for that. We need to check for extended capabilities. Get cap-r /2 dev null, right? Or get excuse me, I'm a little chopped up here. Get capabilities -r from the root file system to dev null, right? All errors, erroneous output to dev null. Dude, there it is. Who can tell me what I'm looking at right now? Why is this the answer? Why did we just get root on this machine? Where is it? How's it going to happen? Yeah. Reach for... This is it, man. If you're the first to answer it in the chat, I'll give you that shout out. Shout outs to reach S1REN that said set UID. It's got nothing to do with the fact that it's Python 2, 2.7, 3.0. It's got everything to do with the fact that there's an extended capability that you can configure with Python to set the UID. And I'm going to demonstrate that right now. ISS-ter, Ister21 is grabbing their forehead, saying, Python 2, why? Python 2.7 is more of our friend than any other version of Python. I'm whispering into the microphone because this is imperatively important information. Extra bonus credits to anybody that can tell me why the developers of Python jumped all the way from 2.7 to 3.0 and they branched them separately. What was the big issue? I'll give you a hint. It was security related. And it was one simple thing. 2.7 is not a bad thing. We're not grabbing our face seeing 2.7. We're giving thumbs up when we see 2.7. Okay, look. Let's touch offsec.py. And let's nano offsec.py. Okay? And we're just going to say import OS. But let's demonstrate, say there was requests, import requests. This is the reason right here that for security reasonings, we kind of had to make the jump from 2.7 to 3. Because the fact is that developers need this functionality that I'm about to describe. So the idea is that, you would have requests.get, and then HTTP, mega www.megacorp1.com or something like this, right? And you would get that. Now that's HTTP. What if it was HTTPS? Well, in Python 3, you can't do that. In Python 3, you can't just curl something that, or not curl, but do a request.get. You can't just do that. You can't just do that. But in Python 2, but developers were screaming on a Stack Overflow forum that went on for pages and pages and pages, thousands of developers saying, why is this happening? I need the ability to curl, essentially, or perform requests that get HTTPS. I tossed up a web server. I need to get data back. I need to get information back. Well, on Python 2.7, right? Python 2.7, we have added functionality that Python 3 does not have. There it is. Shout outs to PSYS DE. Can't read CA certs, dude. Verify equals false. What you are looking at right here that I have selected. Verify equals false. This is the sole reason that Python 2.7 is still the de facto standard for developers. And for production and all of the new fun stuff, Python 3, you'd rock with that. But Python 2.7 had verify equals false. If you attempt this in Python 3, that won't even exist. It's going to say, I don't even know what you're talking about. What is verify equals false? So this will be able to retrieve HTTPS, right? And then you do like .text, right? .text. One second, my cats are in a box. So does that make sense? I hope so. To Ister21, I mean, we're not just gonna not talk about that, dude. We're gonna talk about that. That is why Python 2.7 is our friend. It is not our enemy. So aside from that, let's get back to business. We had get cap or set cape capabilities _ set UID. So we have the ability to set the UID. Let's do it like this. We have extended capabilities with Python 2.7. First, let's do system execute bin dash. And let's see if this works, right? Do you guys think this is going to work? Of course not. if I do chmod 755 on offsec.py and then /offsec.py, or excuse me, nano os.system, then dash, and then Python 2.7 on offsec.py. Look at that ID. We're still only a $sign. You know, but what happened? We have Python 2.7 says it can set UID. Well, we need to specify that, man. Oh yeah, thank you, PSys. I forgot to specify. It could be get or post or any other option. Thank you for correcting my Python programming there. Either way, you guys got the important point, which is that verify equals false. Okay, remember that. 2.7, verify equals false. And then exit this because that's garbage and we don't want that. We want a $. That's what we want. So let's nano offsec.py. Hit the return key. And this time we're going to do it a little bit differently. Not too different. There really is only like one thing here. Before we call on os.system, we're going to say os.setUID to 0. So we're going to set the UID to root and then run bin dash. And let's say, is Python 3 here to demonstrate? Python 3 is. Let's try running Python 3 on offsec.py. Oh, no. Operation not permitted. You know, wait. Yeah. See how that says os.setUID 0? Permissions error. Python 3 says operation not permitted. But with our get capabilities dash recursively from the root file system and all erroneous output to dev null, we got back Python 2.7 allows that. So with that long-winded explanation, we'll Python 2.7 offsec.py. And we're root. And that's how that goes. And that is bling bling. That is it. Holy cannoli. So, yeah, bling bling. Clap. Thank you so much. I wouldn't have been able to do it without you guys. Nerdoir says, nice. Guess I was just in time for the bling bling. Summers, how's it going? Welcome to have you, Summers. But don't worry, you'll be able to catch this on YouTube. In the meantime, let's go to the root directory and let's clear everything out. We're going to type ifconfig, that's not found, IPA, because it's Debian, and then we're going to do a ID, we're going to do a whoami, we're going to do a host name, and we're going to cat proof.txt. If this was an exam machine on the PWK, yeah, this is the kind of screenshot that we want. It's got the IP information, it's got the ID and the root, effective UID of root. Even if GID in groups, this shows us that you are root. Who am I? Root also helps. Hostname, Katana. That way we know which machine it was, right? Which host name. And then obviously the proof. And that would go in your formal report, and our proctors would love you for providing that. In fact, it's actually, I don't know any polite way to say this, but it's mandatory. You have to do this. So make sure you do that when you report. That being said, let's take a look at OffSec's new website, dude. Offsec.com. I personally love it. I love this fish. We've gotten a lot of great feedback on it. This is a little personal shout out to myself and my team and the work that we've done over the past 2 years on this course. Shout outs to every other developer. We've been working with Cloud. We've been working with EXP, BinExp, the PWK, and as Elwood said, there are some things we want to talk about related to the PWK that we haven't talked about yet, and no, I'm not going to say anything about it because I just like seeing you guys on your toes. I really do. So keeping you guessing, but stay tuned. /webinars. Still here? Sure is. So we have Jeremy Miller, or Harbinger, our content development manager, is doing these regular webinars. Look how many he's done, dude. Look at how many he's done. I love these cards and animations. They're really nice. But anyway, interviewing an individual by the name of David Hunt from Prelude Security. and how David got into cybersecurity, his thoughts on an adversary emulation, upcoming community projects, and so on and so forth. And if you'd like to join our Discord, you can do that as well. One thing I'm going to do is go to our takeaway concepts, git cap dash recursive from the root file system, errors to dev null, Python 2.7 verse Python 3, and I'm just going to put here, do some extracurricular research. Cough. We're going to have a big old cough here. Cough. Verify equals false. And cough, if you wanted to Google those things. That all being said, be very thorough. Be very thorough across multiple web surface ports with our directory and file fuzzing. Don't be afraid to go down a rabbit hole as long as you get something out of it. What did I get out of it? Maybe what you got out of it is don't go down that rabbit hole again. It's that simple. But we're going to copy all this and we're going to go over to Discord. We're going to put in here in wireside text, Katana, right? And then 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. And I am going to have all of this uploaded onto YouTube. That is on the official channel of Offensive Security on YouTube within the next hour, 2 hours, something like that. If you missed anything, bling bling, now I'm the one crying with happiness, says Vass. Man, emotional stream. For real, and congratulations to that individual that got their OSCP. We at Offensive Security are so proud of you and everything you've done and all the hard work that you put in. You did try harder, and you did get it. You did phenomenal. Congratulations. This is not the new schedule. This was just a rare case scenario. It's still going to be once a month. But without anything else being said, thank you guys for being here. And happy hacking, intruders. Take care.